Hello, hello. Welcome to episode one of the Unnamed Podcast. This is your co host, Andrew, and we have the other co host.
Ashley.
Episode zero was filmed last week, so this is hot off the presses of some great stuff. Tell me a little bit about the week, Ashley.
It's been a bit of a slow week. I was hoping to finish my jeans that I talked about last week, but I I have not done much crafting other than we are celebrating Father's Day a week early and I made silly little handprint chickens and those I have finished. So that was a craft that I did this week.
Very nice. All right. Very
How's your
cool.
week been?
My week has been good. Been busy doing nothing. Um, Playing some games. Didn't read books like I was going to this week, but I did get some stuff done, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. But
Mm.
yeah.
Speaking of books, I am not a reader, and 9 times out of 10, I will never read a book. However, maybe next week I will be able to give us a little bit of a take on a book because I've been holding on to my 3 free month trial to Spotify. I always knew it would come in handy at some point. And so I've just been hanging on to it, and I finally am cashing in on my free trial, and I'm so excited about it because I'm going on a road trip next week, and I my biggest fear was I'm gonna be bored. My toddler won't be bored. I bought him amazing toys. He's gonna be so enthralled. We have snacks. He's gonna be loving life. But I was like, I'm gonna be bored, and I don't want to crash the car just from boredom. That wouldn't be a very good look. um, so I'm gonna listen to. Let me double check the title of this book before I accidentally misname it. That would be a silly. It's John Green's most recent book, I believe, that he put out.
Ah,
He does have a book coming out in September. That is not the one. This is from last year, I believe. And it's Everything is Tuberculosis. I cannot wait. So, although I technically won't be reading it, I'll be listening to it. I would be so thrilled to bring that to the podcast next week.
that's actually one of the books that is on our reading list of things to read that's nonfiction. So
That's
you've chosen
amazing.
well.
I
So that's
love
really
that.
fun. Yeah, John Green is a
What
really
made
easy
you
read.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what made you pick that?
It's really hard to find good nonfiction that people are interested in, but a lot of people know John Green and like that
Mm,
circle, the whole family. And so it's kind of easier to get people into nonfiction when they already have a voice in their head or like familiarity. So that's one of the ones that I felt like would be an easier like start into nonfiction. So yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough. Have you read any of his fiction books? I feel like that's what he's been publishing more of recently.
I actually have not. The tuberculosis
Interesting.
book is the only one I've ever actually read snippets of.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, cool. Did you to ask a dumb question, did you ever watch, The Fault in Our Stars?
I feel like I have, but it's
Mm,
been a
but
long
you
I
don't
feel like it's been
remember
a
it.
while. I do not remember it very well,
Fair.
but that sounds
I watched it in
extremely familiar.
college. It's some sad movie about a cancer. I think two cancer patients. Actually, I was gonna say one, and then I was like, it's two. I don't know. It's kind of a silly, edgy. Well, pretend edgy. I don't know. It's a very silly, dumb movie. That I find more humorous now that I'm properly a fan of John Green. Like the main thing that is like a edgy thing is like I guess one of the teenagers he is dying of cancer and he likes to like just have a cigarette in his mouth. I don't from my recollection he doesn't smoke it, but he just likes to have it in his mouth just for funsies. Kind of like a Dunkin' on cancer kind of a thing. And I'm like, that's a very John Green thing to do.
Yeah, that's fair. Should be fun. I've probably watched it
Yeah.
on YouTube Shorts or something like that. Something cursed.
Oh boy, that's rough. Yeah, I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again. It's not like it's not listen, all the love to John Green. However, I fear it's not a classic.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, there's certain things like that where I don't really engage with them, but I'll see them in like a shorts format exclusively. One of the
Uh,
ones that was like that for me was Young Sheldon. I have never watched that
oh,
show, but I know all about Georgie and Mandy's relationship and all the ins and outs because that's what
hey,
would show up in my YouTube Shorts feed.
now, see, now here's a question since you're not a real fan. I'm
Mm.
properly a fan. I I go so far as to even enjoy The Big Bang Theory, which is oh man, that's a spicy thing to be said when my family could listen to this podcast. They're not fans of that, which is fair and fine. I find it very amusing. I've not watched the entire show. I've watched, which is crazy. That's only I don't it's only because I was watching it through the library and they didn't have a couple seasons, which is really upsetting. My library loves to do that where they just like will have most of a show but not all of it and I'm like, "What? Why?" Um anyways, so I've watched that. I've watched Young Sheldon, but also, and this is what I was going to bring up, is you could be also seeing clips from George and Mandy's first marriage,
Yes,
which is a third show, significantly not as good as the
significantly
first two.
worse. I immediately
Yes,
recognize it
yeah.
because I hear this laugh track, and I'm like, "Oh, yep, this is Georgie and Mandy's first
Oh,
marriage." And I have watched
yeah.
clips of Big Bang Theory specifically in relation to Georgie. So
Interesting.
that's kind of my level. I basically just care about Georgie and Mandy. Sheldon, you know, I I don't know if I am okay with not liking Sheldon. The problem is that at school I get called Sheldon, but not young Sheldon, just Sheldon, all the time by
Oh,
my
that's
students.
not
So
good.
it's like a
That's
weird
not
thing
good.
where I'm like, I know it. I know that when they're saying it, they're kind of saying like, "Oh, well, you're a smart guy" and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, but I have like mixed feelings. But it is what it is when you're teaching.
Yeah,
So you're
that's
like,
really rough.
yeah, we're like, I don't know if I want to be Sheldon, but they're like, well, you're like young Sheldon, but like you've gotten older.
Yeah, that's
I'm
bad.
like,
I'd be like, "No thanks, pass on that."
yeah. So I'm
That's
sort of like, I
wow.
don't know if I like young Sheldon, but also, when you're a teacher, you're just gonna be super nerdy, so that's fine.
I
That's a part of it, you
guess,
know. Oh, my
but
dog's
that's
barking.
rough.
Yeah, I would say
Oh,
that's
yes,
on the.
Serby.
Yeah, Cerberus is barking, and she sounds sad. We have company over,
Oh,
so
uh,
maybe,
she's feeling some type of way about it.
yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, well, these
And
things happen.
Cerberus wants in this room, but I'm in here
Oh,
and recording a
but
podcast, and
animals make noise, yeah.
yeah, my cat and my dog are sad that they're not in here with me right now.
No.
So that's
That's
unfortunate.
funny that I'm surprised they're not bothered to have to be in the same room with you, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What
Well, I
the
picture
animals?
yeah, like, just since it's a cat and a dog, like, I know cats and dogs can coexist in, like, a house, but I feel like it's a lot for them to both actively choose to be in the same room.
Oh no, that is no issue.
Hmm.
Wherever I am, they will be. So, you know,
Oh.
it's kind of funny. They will unite. So when I go to the bathroom, the boys will take pictures and stuff. Where the dog and the cat are sitting side by side. They're not friends, but they both agree they need to wait in front of the bathroom door. And then
Oh,
as soon
that's
as
so
I leave the
cute.
bathroom, they both circle, but they don't get close to each other, but they circle around me. It's a
Oh.
whole thing. So they're not really like in love with each other in any way, but they are in agreement that wherever I am, they need to be. So
That's
they put up
sweet.
with each other. and they know that if they don't
Fair
put up with
enough.
each other, I'm gonna be showing up. I'm gonna be like, "Yo, what's up? What we doing over here?"
That's fair.
So yeah, but it's good times. Yeah, I would say the Young Sheldon thing. Going back to it, a lot of them have
Oh
said
yeah.
very nice things. My favorite was Koro Sensei, which is the
Oh
nicest thing.
man.
There's I
Yeah.
and a lot of them do it in an endearing manner as well, where you can tell when somebody's saying something in distaste and when somebody's saying something very sweet. You
Yeah.
know?
You know, you bring up a great point because there is one of my friends that I most friends I don't think would get this, and I was like, it's fine. I'm so glad that this friend understood. One time she wasn't sure. She was kind of growing out her hair from a short haircut, and it was a thing. She was in a transitional phase, and she looked great. There's no part of her that looked bad. So I was trying to hype her up, and I told her, I said, to be honest, I said you look kind of like a hot like Tumnus from Narnia. I know most people would be like, no thanks, please don't. Don't say that. But I knew she would get it and take it as a compliment, which I was like, that's the entire point. Like that is how I meant it to be received. And I'm so glad she got it because I was like, yeah, no, to be fair, like most people would not like that compliment.
Yeah, fair. Oh, something happened. Oh,
Sorry.
and we're back.
I was I'm sorry. I was trying to I see that my thing is constantly reading audio, which is weird because I'm trying to be so quiet when I'm not talking. So I was just trying to fix it.
It's fine. It's pretty good. No problem.
Man.
But
Oh,
yeah.
I went to a new coffee shop today that I loved.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was I guess at nighttime it's a wine bar and I guess they weren't getting like enough business or something. And so in the mornings they decided to just turn it into a coffee shop. And so it's very vibey. Whereas like most of the time I feel like coffee shops are set up to be like very like work oriented, whereas this place like less people are at it because like they're not used to it being open as a coffee shop, but also it's more set up for like live music and like lots of outside seating, and so during the day it's very quiet, very calm, and you can just sit outside under lots of trees and like I didn't actually get coffee. I got like a ginger green tea situation, delicious,
Okay.
and my toddler had lots of fun playing in the dirt outside. And what more can you ask for as a parent? You get to sit there, drink your fun drink. Your kid gets to play in the dirt. Like 10 out of 10. Would 100% recommend.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Really nice. What made you try the
Yeah.
place out? Just sort of saw it on Google or something like that?
No, I heard about it from a friend of a friend. So, one of our really good friends, he tends to work at coffee shops cuz he has an online job, and normally he works Friday mornings at the coffee shop I go to all the time.
Hmm.
But I guess I don't know how he found this coffee shop, but he found it and he told my brother-in-law about it. And my brother-in-law said, "Hey, did you hear about this coffee shop? Our friend goes to it." Like he said it's a vibe. And I was like, "Okay, cool." And then I always meant to go and I never got around to it, but a friend from church said it was her favorite. And I was like, "Okay, then let's go. Let's do it. Let's check out a new place." And I loved it.
Awesome. That's the best way to find out about something is with a good recommendation. Sort of like when I go to a
Yeah.
restaurant, I'll be like, "What do you like to get here?" If a friend recommends it, because usually they found something good on the
Mm,
menu to have.
fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, have you been to any restaurants recently or not so much?
Yeah, for sure. I have a budget, so I'll stick to that budget pretty consistently. Um, Lately, I've been going to a taco place that's just really good.
Ooh,
It's like authentic, and it's like about I think it's like $1.50 per taco on Tuesdays, and that has been a pretty
uh,
great experience.
and its name
um,
is Taco Bell. No.
No, it's not Taco Bell. Taco Bell is like $4 a taco or something crazy. I don't know.
I know, I
It's
know. I'm
you get this tiny little
I can't.
taco and you're like, oh man, all right. I like Taco
No,
Bell,
that's
but
fair.
it needs. I okay. When I say I like Taco Bell, it's in the sense that I like Leone's, where it's like, or not Leone's, Little Caesars, where it's like
Uh,
there's a part of me that's nostalgic for it, and then I have it. I'm like, wow, that was more expensive than it should have been, which is how I feel about Little Caesars as well, because that's also gone up in price, and it's
that
like
sucks.
it's the same quality, but now it's like $8. I'm like, well, I don't know about this, man.
Yeah, I can't get behind Little Caesars anymore, mostly because I had an experience with it in college, which I know, most people think, "Oh, yeah, college, like, you get drunk." I don't get drunk. That's not something I believe in, so just to put that out there, this is not one of those stories. It was just I don't know, I was feeling nauseous, which is kind of common for me, so nothing new there, but one of our cousins wanted to go, and I said, "Oh, well, I don't want any, but, like, I'll walk across the street with you." And I walked in, and I did have to leave because I got too sick in there from the smell of their pizza, and ever since, it's been a little bit ruined for me, which is sad.
Fair enough. I used to go to that same Little Caesars all the time because one of my roommates, he was lactose intolerant, and he would go there and order
Uh,
a cheeseless pizza, which
fair
always
enough.
impressed me that that was a thing. Because I feel like Little Caesars is not the place to go specifically for that experience,
Yeah,
but you know, yeah, he would
they
do
don't
it,
seem allergy friendly, but
and
fair
I
enough.
I always feel like it's really dumb that a cheeseless pizza costs more than a cheese pizza.
Wait, serious?
Yeah, I I think that's the dumbest thing.
That
So it's
is
like
some
normally it'd
here's
be
a
five
question.
bucks, it'd be like $7.
So, I'm aware of who you're talking about, and I will keep them nameless,
Yeah,
Um, but from my recollection, obviously he can't ingest cheese, like, that's not a good time. Um, could is he so allergic that he couldn't just buy it and peel the cheese off?
he could, but like I will say, if you've ever had cheeseless pizza, it is a totally different experience. It's sort of
Ah,
like the way it's toasted, it is really good. Like
mm,
it's yeah, it is its own experience. So I feel like peeling off the cheese, you're gonna lose a lot of that sauce, and then you've just got some bread with a little bit of sauce on it, as opposed to bread with toasted sauce on it. Those are two different experiences.
interesting. I have a feeling I feel like I should go out and order a cheeseless pizza because that does sound really good, and that is my favorite part about pizza is the bread and the sauce. Unfortunately, Hugo has to put up with if I make homemade pizza, it's I'd say probably 80% bread, 20% sauce, essence that I know I'm aware that that gets me at 100%, but I guess maybe I should shave off like 2% for cheese, I guess. But like it is almost exclusively just bread with sauce, and it's amazing and I love it. And it's not pizza at that point, I don't think, but that's okay.
Yeah, see, if you don't feel like you're gonna have problems in the future because there was too much cheese on it, like that's where I'm at, where I'm like, I want to wonder if I should be consuming this much cheese when I'm eating a pizza. That's my take. That's
Uh
that's what I'm looking for. I'm like, the bread, the sauce, they're transportations for that cheese and the stuff on it and flavors to, exist. But like,
see, you could never be a vegan, man.
yeah, no, cheese would be a problem for me. Like, I've always wanted to be a
Which is
pescatarian
fair. Oh,
specifically,
okay.
because I could totally get behind just cutting out a lot of meats and just going straight for fish. Like, that is 100% me. I am not a fan. Listen. I don't want to disappoint people like Ron Swanson and stuff like that, but red meat is a little intense sometimes to eat on the daily, and I enjoy things like chicken more the older I get. But fish is like a 10 out of 10 for me. I can always get behind fish.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Okay, well then put your money where your mouth is, my guy. Go pescatarian. That would be so much better for the environment.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of fish in my freezer. Whenever it's just me, that's what I
Wahoo! There
do.
you
I
go.
just eat fish. If it's the
That's
boys,
awesome.
my roommates, then it's like, all right, they're not gonna want to put up with fish. So
That's
it's like,
sad.
guess I'm cooking chicken, or but they don't really like. One of them likes chicken a lot. One of them hates chicken. So, but they say
Oh,
the one that hates chicken, they say that my chicken is the only chicken they'll eat. So there's that.
okay.
But
How do you make your chicken?
I mean, honestly, it just sort of depends on the day. Sometimes I'm gonna put it on the oven in the oven. A lot of times I do that, but I might like toast it on each side a little bit before I put it in the oven, and then I get it up to temp.
Mm,
But I kind of like do the thing
yeah.
where before it hits temp, I let it rest until it reaches temperature rather than hitting temp in the
Mm.
oven, if that makes sense, and then having it
No,
overcook
that makes
aggressively.
sense.
Yeah, I try to pull it out of the oven before it reaches temp and then just let it naturally hit that temp.
I regret to say that I have the type of tism that is that makes me overcook it because ew. Heaven forbid I accidentally gave myself food poisoning. If I cook um like raw animal products like that myself, if I feel the slightest bit nauseous later on, I it ruins my whole day because I am stuck there thinking like I did it. I gave myself food poisoning. I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be unwell. I'm not. It's fine. I'm nauseous all the time. Like this is just like but unless I overcook it and I know that I overcooked it, I won't be able to get that thought out of my head that I gave myself food poisoning. And so I do have to overcook it, which sucks. I hate that, especially as a person with a culinary arts degree. I know better. But I can't help it.
Well, I share that mindset in that I check every single spot of the chicken's temperature, right?
As you should.
Like I'm not like winging it. I'm like, all right, I know I'm like 10 degrees over by the time it's done, right? 5 to
Oh,
10
good.
degrees over.
Perfect.
So I'm not like at temp, just no, I'm like I'm going over temp, but I'm not like trying to go like 15, 20 degrees over temp, which is what I find most people are doing with chicken, which is like, okay, well now you got this really dry chicken. That's or they
Well,
just
yeah, most people aren't temping in the first place, which is atrocious. And when they are, they don't know what temp it's supposed to be. I found out that someone near and dear to me, they weren't gonna temp their chicken, and they're like, "Yeah, it's probably fine." And I said, "I brought my thermometer. Let's just temp it." And they go, "Oh, perfect. It's at reading at 10 below what it was supposed to be." And I
oh
said,
no.
"No!" I
Yeah,
said,
I
"You
know
put that
that's
back in
a
the oven."
yeah, that's a no. See,
Mind
I
you, this is a
agree.
person
I'm
who knows how to cook. Like, it's not someone that's incompetent. That's the scary part about it. Like, it'd be one thing if it was a friend of mine that doesn't cook. I'd be like, "Okay, fine. Like, that's not great, but like we can learn." But it's more scary when it's a person that doesn't know how to cook. You're like, "Ah."
yeah, no, super fair. I'll admit right now I have to Google every single time what the temp is for everything I'm cooking, because I don't want to just rely on my brain. Because I'm like I probably would know like if I've reached like 160, 165, I'm probably good. But like let's just double check, and then I have to Google it and be like, oh okay, it's this temperature or whatnot. Because it depends on what I'm cooking a
Yeah.
little bit.
No, it's true. I memorized well, obviously I memorized it for culinary school, but I also think about it like and the order in which you would put things in the fridge, and then I base it off of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know I shouldn't say anything that's going to trigger the culinarian in ya, but probably one of the biggest pet peeves I have. So I'm the kitchen guy, right? I pretty much
Yeah.
exclusively do a lot of the cooking, and every now and then other people get involved, and they know that I'm like the super clean guy, and I care about like how things are stored. There's a couple of things that'll trigger me. For example, open raw chicken next to cooked chicken in the fridge. instantly gonna trigger me.
Oh
I'm
boy,
instantly gonna
yeah,
throw away
wow.
whatever that cooked chicken is. Like I've
Yeah.
if it was in there for 10 seconds, all right, I forgive you. We ain't we ain't doing that. There's just certain things.
Wow.
Keeping the potatoes in the sun. All right, we got to throw them away. We're not doing that. We're in Florida. Can't do that. Too much heat. It's
Interesting.
gonna release too much poison. I'm
Interesting.
good. I know that much because I was
I
into growing
s-
things for a long time, and
What's
so I
funny is as much as I know that to be true, I that one's one I don't worry about too much. However, something I do worry about that most people don't worry about and should be worried about. This is a little PSA for anyone listening. Most people tend to think that cooked rice and cooked mashed potatoes are not as temperature sensitive as meat is. And in fact, those are two of the highest foods people do get food poisoning from because people have that stupid mindset. It is
yeah,
just as important that those get cooled down and kept at that certain temperature as much as meat is.
yep,
It will get you so sick. It's not funny. It's not cool beans. You do absolutely have to temp it. It's not, yeah.
yeah,
It's so stressful. I'm like, oh no.
yeah. I mean that's super fair. And probably the potatoes thing for me is just an over exaggeration because I was like growing stuff. And so if you're growing plants like potatoes and stuff like that, one of the things you learn very early on is that if potatoes are growing in the sun, they become poisonous to anybody who eats them.
Yeah, no, I
And
mean,
so
that's the thing is I do know that. And anytime I do see a green potato, I do think about it and I'm like, ah, probably poisonous. And I just peel until the green is gone and I eat it anyways, which is probably I shouldn't I don't that's probably shouldn't be doing that.
and to be fair, it's not like gonna kill you kind of thing, but you might like I just don't it's just one of those things and I'm like, you know what, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you should be eating it. I'm fully aware of that. It's an issue of it's what you call cognitive dissonance, where you know something to be true, but also the other part of your brain's just like, "Ah, are we sure about that though? Like, it's fine, right?"
Yeah. And I have certain things where like I think things should not be in the freezer for as long as people put them in the freezer for. Um, so like, should you have frozen chicken sit in the freezer for 2 years and then eat it?
Oh,
To me, I'm gonna say no. I'm like the only one that
yeah.
seems to think this, but I understand like 6 months in, so be it. Like, whatever. I think 6 months is about my limit for most things where I'm like around the 6 month mark, I'm like, I feel like this should be high priority to eat this. I know that
Yeah,
there's
I
a list of
think
things. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think it depends. Like if you vacuum sealed it, it will last for longer in the freezer. And I don't think it'll make you sick if you eat chicken that's been frozen for 2 years, but I do think it will not taste good at all. I do think it will
Yeah.
be cardboard.
Yeah, it's just almost not worth eating. Like at some point we just have to eat that stuff.
I
So
would
yeah.
agree with you.
Mhm.
Side note, I think we should switch over and then discuss books and movies.
Sounds good. I'll pause it. All right, and we are back. Perfect. So yeah, let's
Sweet.
talk about
Well,
books
I
and
heard
movies and stuff. Go ahead.
yeah, sorry. I said I heard that your book review is a little different than normal.
Yeah, so normally I like to do a segment on books or movies or whatever, but this week I actually want to talk about a video game. But don't worry, I'm not always going to talk about video games. They're not always worth saying something about. But this one in particular won Game of the Year last year, and I actually do want to talk about it a little bit. It's Claire Obscure Expedition 33. But it should probably happen, at some point where I can give people like a spoiler warning or something like that. Do you want me to talk about my thing first, or do you want to lead the charge?
No, I'm intrigued what you have to say. I've not heard of this game, so I think it's interesting that it won. What did you say it won?
It won Game of the Year. Um, pretty much unanimously in like everything.
Wow.
It's actually one of those
Okay.
games where I super recommend it to people to just watch a video on YouTube of the cutscenes because it's super good. So if you don't want to hear about it, I'm just gonna say you might want to look at a timestamp in the description so you can skip through because it's kind of hard to talk about this game without getting into specifics. So because the first hour there's stuff that spoils you, so I'm gonna suggest if you care about it, skip forward a bit. But I'm gonna get into it. So Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is one of the only games I've ever played that made me cry in the first 60 minutes.
Okay.
It is extremely French. You have to understand, I don't normally like French things. I am best friends with a Frenchman, but being having Scottish heritage, this makes sense. The Scottish and the French hang out; they're friends. My favorite mathematician was a Frenchman, so uh, it is what it is. And I even like people like L'Hopital, close second, just because he made calculus life easier. Yeah, so Clair Obscur, yeah, it deserves Game of the Year, but it's the whole premise so that you can be clued in. Every year, there's this tower, and there's a giant who wakes up at the end of every year and paints a number on the tower. So it started at 100, and by the time you're playing the game, it's gone down to 33. And when this occurs, there's something called a gommage. The idea of the gommage is whatever that year is that's displayed, if someone is that age, they die.
Oh boy, that
So,
sucks.
but it does it in a very French way. So think of it as like, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. And a little dust, Um,
Oh
they turn
boy.
to flower petals, right? So it's not like some violent death, but they do it right next to their loved ones. So like the kids watch their parents fade away, or sometimes it'll be one parent that fades away. And we're to the point
I
where
mean, you
now
say
the
that's
oldest
very
person,
French.
I say that's very French, or you say
Yeah,
that's very
sorry, I
French.
didn't mean to. I thought there was a pause there for a second. I apologize.
Oh no, you're
I
good.
just think the French are more dramatic than that, but I don't know.
It's extremely dramatic because I'm saying this in like a very
Oh,
like,
okay.
it is what it is. Yeah, so the game just straight up shows you after like making you connect where you're like, here's this guy, he's 33 years old,
Oh.
or he's about to turn 33, and his girlfriend is 34, and you don't know the whole gommage thing yet, but everybody's about to say goodbye, and he's like, man, I wish things had worked out when we were younger, and she's like, well, I didn't want to have children and you wanted to have children, but I wanted our kids to have us the whole time. And it was a whole thing. And like, they're starting to connect and they share a kiss. And you're like, oh man, all right. And she's upset because he's throwing his life away on this expedition and stuff like that. But then they get to an hour in and she just fades right in his arms. And you're like,
Yeah,
okay. So this is one of those games. And the music,
that
oh
sucks.
man, it pulls at the heartstrings. Yeah. Oh, my dog's still sad, but
Oh.
my dog must have watched me play the game. Um, the whole situation is it just starts really hopeful. Even after that, you're like really hopeful that the expedition's gonna go well. You've got like 30 people going on the expedition. Immediately, 24 of them die just instantly.
Oh
Like
boy.
they go to like they're like we're setting sail, we're gonna go try to save the world, and they just get D-Dayed. Just horrific
Do they
monsters show
not?
up and just murder them all.
Oh,
And
okay. I was gonna say, do they not know that the thingy is coming for them? But I'm like, oh, okay, I guess.
oh well, see what they're doing is the people who are going to turn 33 are going to be okay until the number goes down. So the people who are about to get gommaged the year before, some of them will go on an expedition to try to stop this from happening.
Does it ever
So,
work?
well, as we're to the number 33, it's never worked so far. But they're
Oh
like, well,
boy,
if I'm gonna
okay.
die in a year, I might as well try to like stop this from happening to the next group.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, so long story short, the game is a really interesting depiction of what I would say is like, you know, Alice in Neverland or Alice in Wonderland. Um,
Yeah.
but like everything's in the frame of like there's painters and it's it's fascinating. But man, I feel depressed after playing it a little
That's
bit, you
fair.
know. Um, but it's I understand why it won Game of the Year. It's one of those things, like I say, if you don't know anything about it, I recommend go watch some of it. Check it out. Just even watch the first hour, and you'll immediately understand why it won Game of the Year. And yeah, it doesn't have a happy ending. Surprise,
Oh,
surprise.
well then
But
I'm definitely not watching.
but
That sucks.
it's it's how do I explain it? It's not a happy ending, it's a necessary one. But it also just flips the world on its head constantly. One of the first things you have to learn
Okay.
is like this is like bigger spoiler territory, but you learn very quickly like, "Oh, okay. So nobody here is even real."
Oh.
Okay, so that makes it feel a little bit less like you're okay. That feels better. There's really only like three people here in this world that are real, but then you realize that it's this family who's dealing with grief, and one of the main characters is basically the whole story is about a family unit that can paint paintings and then go into the paintings to live in those worlds. Well, there was this family had two parents and two children, well, actually, three children, two daughters and one son. Well, the son dies in the real world in a warehouse fire, saving the youngest daughter. But he
Hmm.
painted this photo or this thing, and they all like went in and out of the photo and all that stuff. Well, now the family clings on to that photo as like the last thing they remember him by, and so they brought him back to life in his painting.
Oh boy.
And he doesn't really know how to handle that, and none of them are like super aware of the events, and it just gets absolutely bonkers. But it actually has multiple endings, is one of the things that's bizarre. I always side with the brother because you have two sides of it. The ending you can choose, either you side with the brother who then pushes his sister out of the painting and makes everybody leave the painting because they're basically going to die in the painting if that doesn't happen, or you can
Uh,
choose the girl, the daughter, because she doesn't want to give up her brother because she's like, this is her last little remnant of her brother that she can cling on to. She never wants to give this up, but he's dead. So this is the only way she can have any connection to him. So she just wants to stay there and die, right? Like nothing out there is worth living for. Her face was completely destroyed in the fire. She can't talk in the real world, but here she can talk. Here she can experience the things that her brother loved, and she's grown connected to all these characters he made, but she can't move past it, right? So you can either choose to embrace her choice and live in the painting, die of old age, like experience a full life in the painting, but knowing none of it's technically ever real, or you can choose to side with the brother and forcefully push her out into the real world and destroy the painting from the inside out to ensure that the family doesn't die in the painting.
and
Because
you
the family is
side
like,
with the brother?
I side with the brother personally because the family is like deteriorating. Like they're getting cancer from being in the painting. So they're going to die
I
in like
mean,
2 years. Whereas otherwise they get to live a long, full, happy life. I
how do the parents feel about being in the painting?
They are actually the dad does not want the painting to exist, but has to go in there to try
Oh
to
boy.
convince his wife not to be in there. So he wants to like destroy the
Oh
whole
boy.
world. And the mother also kind of wants to destroy the world, but she wants to keep only the things the son made in there and like get rid of everything else so that the son's things can be kept pure and pristine, just like he left them. And the daughter
Okay.
actually likes the world for what it is, so doesn't really want destruction at all, just wants to exist in that world, but never
That
form
really
real
sucks.
connections in the real world. Yeah, it's It's sad, but it is a very powerful story, and it is a powerful choice that the brother gets to make, where he realizes as he's going
Yeah.
through, I'm not alive, and I feel alive, and I appreciate everything
Wow.
here, and I love my sister, and I love my mom, and I love my dad. They're very cool, but I want them to live their life. I want them to get over me. So he chooses, you could choose which one. If you
Hmm.
choose him, he basically has a moment of closure with the daughter because she's the one, his sister. She needs the most support. The parents
Yeah.
are older, but the little girl can't understand. You know, she's like 15 years old,
Hmm.
kind of thing. And so she's really struggling with this. And he basically hugs her and he's like, she's saying like we're gonna live forever together here and live our life until the end of days, but he's watching her deteriorate in front of him more and more, right? Age rapidly. And so he eventually turns to the painting itself and turns to the little piece of him that's left and talks to himself and says, you need to stop painting. You need to chill.
Hmm.
And they have to duke it out. So the brother and the sister fight. Um, and in the end, he manages to get them all out of the painting. And remember, the older sister is actually on the out of the painting. She's like, I have to go live in the real world. We have important stuff to do. We got to take care of the
Oh,
family. So she's out there, and everybody doesn't even
I
care
didn't
about her.
realize.
Yeah, so she's out there
Wow,
just being
that
completely ignored
sucks.
by the family. And so the brother's like, she's a person too in the family. He's like, I'm gone. The living need to live. The dead are gone. You need to forget. He's like, you don't have to forget me, but you need to move on. Go live your life. And you can still remember. And I want you to have this painting to remember me by, but you can't do it in a healthy way. So it's, man, it's Chaklin stuff that's really tough. You know, how do you get over losing a son? How do you get over losing a brother? um, well, it's tempting to like cling on to those things, but it's kind of addressing, one of the things you need to do is when you're living your life, think about those who are yet to come, right? How are you going to live your life
Hmm.
in a way that when those that follow, they can move through that? Did you, be mindful how you treat people, right? Did you treat people like it's your last moment you're going to talk to them, or did you treat them like it's just another day? Because depending on how you interact with them, that can make your death a lot harder. But also, the next generation, those that are coming up, they're important. You need to take care of them. You need to care about their feelings. You need to find a way to help them become independent so that they can stand on their own feet. It's a tricky thing. And it's a thing that people argue about. Should you side with the sister or should you side with the brother? That's a tricky thing.
Yeah, I mean, if it weren't for the parents being in there and like the fact that they're deteriorating really fast and like the fact that they also don't want this, like if it was exclusively just like the sister and the brother, I'd be like absolutely not, like let the sister stay, but because of the parents, I'm like, well, unfortunately, like I do think it's the right thing to kick them out. But well, and I say that as a sister too, like if I was to take myself out of the fact that I'm married and a parent, and go back to being a teenager and stuff, like teenage me didn't want to. I mean, I still not not that having a husband and a child makes me not, you know. Obviously, I still love having you in my life and I don't want you to die. But
Yeah,
it would have been more devastating to me as a teenager, and I think I think if I was a teenage girl, I see why I would be content to just like die in that world to have you be a part of my every last minute.
100%. I think the thing that's tough in that choice is that you watch your parents fade away because they don't want to be without you. And
Yeah.
so they willingly basically fade away way faster than you do. That would be tough.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that
like
would be
I
tough. Well, and that's
understand it.
the
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's the other hard part is like you said, like even being a parent, like you know, I have a kid and I'm like, well, if my kid did die, like, yeah, I also don't want to live my life without my kid either. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's interesting. This is making me think this was not the assignment. This was just something I watched in my own free time.
Hmm.
But I'm rewatching Gilmore Girls for I couldn't even tell you how many times I've watched Gilmore Girls at this point. And I think we're in the but I think we're in the 4th season. Maybe this happens in the 3rd season. Anyways, um there's an issue where for context for you, Ender, since you have not watched Gilmore Girls, there's
True.
a daughter named Lorelai, and she has issues with her parents because her parents tried to do the best for her, and they didn't like that she was a teenager and she accidentally got pregnant, which is like not great. And then she didn't marry the guy that she got pregnant with, and her parents were like extra mad about it because they're like, dude, like what are you doing? Like, we're trying to preserve any bit of your life that you can have. Like, don't just go off and do your own thing. And they don't like that that she made her own choices and that she decided to like, work hard and like have her own way about it because her parents are very rich and stuff. And so they don't understand her way of life. And so they've always had a lot of tension. um, but as her daughter starts to grow up, she needs to go to well, she doesn't need to, I guess. But she's always had this dream that she wants to go to this big fancy college. And so part of that would be going to the right high school, and unfortunately, the daughter does not have money for that, and so they go to the grandparents, and the grandparents are like, okay, well, like you have to have Friday night dinners with us because they want to be able to bond with their daughter and their granddaughter. And come the 3rd or 4th season, that's been a very regular thing, and they love their Friday night dinners, and they're super super happy of this bond that they have with their family that they had lost. And of course, the daughter starts to date this guy who is a business partner with her dad, and it does not go well. Basically, their business gets sued by his business partner's dad, which is not great. And uh, Lorelai's dad, the grandfather, um, he with the way the lawsuit works, basically he was going to lose everything, and he obviously can't let that happen because for one, his poor wife is relying on him. Like he has set up retirement. He like they have all this beautiful life that they've built together, and if he gets sued into oblivion, like he could lose it all, which would suck. But also, they're currently paying their granddaughter's tuition to Yale, and he also doesn't want to lose that. Like it is super important to him to take care of his family. However, um, what really sucks is the grandmother's point of view. She loses her mind. And
Ah.
I hate to say that I I fear I relate to her because she gets so unreasonably upset with her husband, which to be fair, her husband doesn't entirely effectively communicate how intense the situation is to her because he doesn't want her to be scared or worried about their future. So to be fair, he doesn't fully communicate the way he should have to her. But she freaks out because she's like, "Well, if you're suing our daughter's boyfriend and she says she really cares about him, like you're jeopardizing this relationship that she, has regrown with her daughter." And so she gets upset and she says she's leaving her husband. She doesn't ever leave her husband. They live in the same house. They get back together. It's really not it's really not a proper divorce. Big spoiler alert. But I just this is making me think of that where it's like, like everyone has different wants, and I fear that I am the more emotional, stupid person, you know? Like I respect what the grandfather is doing, and I see where what he is doing, in my opinion, is right. Like, it sucks. Don't get me wrong, like it's not ideal, but he also knows that like in this suing debacle, he knows that like his business partner is gonna be fine. Like he's not worried about him. Like he's a young guy. he can pull himself back together. So he's like, I'm not destroying this guy's life. Like, it's not great, they're wrong, but mm,
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's super fair. And I think, you know, I feel like society itself has definitely put a pressure where it's the onus of man, there's the requirement of man to sort of take on the brunt of the world so that the family can go on, if you will. Like
mhm.
I can point to a lot of things because there's stuff like this for women too, but when it comes to men, there's certain things where it's always like, all right, historically the draft is always like a men first kind of thing, and the only way to get out of it
Yeah.
is like, well, if you're the last remaining one, like technically speaking, I can't be drafted because I'm the last of my generation,
Interesting.
right? So if I go to battle and I die, then that means the entirety of my family tree is gone. They don't like to do that. Because I have no brothers and I have no uncles or aunts that had sons, or no uncles that had sons. So technically speaking, that's a thing. I don't know if that would hold up if
Hmm.
things really got bad, but who's supposed to be the
Yeah,
first
I
off the
hate to
ship?
say I don't think Trump would care about your lineage.
Yeah, who knows? And I'm a math guy, so I'm probably hooked in somehow, anyways. But I probably
Mm.
wouldn't be on the front lines at least. Um,
That's good.
yeah, that is a
That
good
makes me
thing.
feel better.
Yeah. But I'll say, women and children are supposed to be off the ship first, right? Like men are raised from a very early age to have the mentality of, I need to do what makes the family happy. Whatever family I have, you know, if I am to suffer, I think it's why there's a lot of guys, I know it happens on both sides. I think there's a lot of guys who are in relationships that they're very unhappy, but they're very okay with this because they're raised not that you have to be happy, but that your partner has to be happy. So as long as your partner is
Mm.
happier than you are, you're succeeding, right?
That
That's
sucks.
just how we're raised. I think it's very common for guys to express that. So like if you ask a guy like how the situation is, they'll say we're happy instead of like necessarily I'm happy always, because that's not the main focus. Because if the guy's happy but the girl isn't happy, well then the guy's not happy.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
That's rough.
I think it's just part of life is the way that society has portrayed it. So that's why I think it's easier for me to make the decision of like, well, the brother obviously wants the sibling, and in that case, with the Gilmore girls, the happiness of the family as a whole usually is the focus for guys. Although, obviously, suing family members sounds complicated. I wouldn't say
Well,
that's for the
he's not
happiness,
suing.
but
Yeah, I mean, he's not suing a family member as much as he's suing his business partner. Sorry if I made that confusing.
yeah, it's still affecting them, I suppose.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah, of course. It can't not. Like,
yeah.
I can't imagine if in a hypothetical scenario my dad opted to sue my boyfriend. Like, I would I would be offended.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Ugh.
it's just yeah, it's weird, but it's how life is sometimes. It's you have to make tough decisions, and usually, you know, I think it kind of has to do with the fact that like all men share certain ideas that they're like, I feel like guys all have a vision of like how they want to go out kind of thing, and like going out in
Mm,
glory, saving their family is at the top of the list. It's like the bank robber comes in and is going to threaten the family, and the
mm.
man stands up and like takes a few shots to the chest but takes out the bank robber, and now his family gets to live. That's like the glory dream of like every single guy I've
Oh
met.
boy.
Like we all have fantasies about dying in battle. Do we really want to die in battle? I don't know, but it's like a built-in.
Wow.
It's a built-in mechanic.
I
It's
mean,
kind of
it's
funny.
good. Like, I can't say it's funny because before I had a kid, I was more against this mentality, also because I was just like, "This is dumb." Like, I as a young girl, I was like, I am so physically capable." I was like, "This is ridiculous that, like, oh, oh no, like, treat her like a woman." I was like, "This is dumb." Um, However, having a child made me realize, like, "Oh, I see why it's women and children first, and that sucks."
Mhm.
And I think it's ultimately value of children's lives because my child can't live without me. Like,
Correct, yeah, exactly.
the older and older he gets, the more he can live without me, but especially when he was a baby, like, that my whole world revolved around what if I die, and how do I ensure that my child is fine?
Mhm.
Because they're not fine, because they simply will not be okay without you.
Yeah,
They need their dad, but they can live without their dad. They cannot live
yeah,
without their mother. Like, they literally, like, can't to begin with, and, like, of
yeah.
course, technically they can, of course, kids get adopted and stuff and whatever, and it works out to be fine, but, like,
I
you
mean, yeah,
know
it's we're finding out as a society what happens when dad isn't around, and it's really not pretty.
Well, yes,
But
yeah, to be clear, you need your dad, that's not me,
yeah.
it's just more specifically when you're a newborn, you're kind of you literally need a mom to survive,
Yeah.
and in the way that I need oxygen to breathe, and it's like,
Yeah.
wow, that's intense, and that's insane to realize, like, how fragile that makes me, where I'm like, "Ah, that sucks and is
Well,
interesting."
can I say that, like, in a very real sense, I think part of that is also the mentality of, hey, if the guy goes, right, then the lady could get married again, right? Women are
Well,
beautiful and
yeah.
like in they could in theory make it work, like they could marry somebody. There are people who marry women that have kids all the time. I know it's not as frequent, but it definitely happens. Doesn't
Yeah,
I feel like it doesn't click in our brain that a guy with a kid has any chance at all. Like that's a
fair.
big no in society. Like, I know there's the whole like widower thing, and some women will want to date somebody because they're a widow. It's different if they're a kid, and it's also different from dating and actually getting married. Like,
Yeah, that's
people
fair.
will pity a
Also
guy. Yeah, I guess we got to reset, huh?
yes, sorry, my apologies.
No worries. And we're back. Sorry about that. But yeah, I think that might be a part of the mentality is like, in theory, a lady could keep the family going better than a guy. But I will say, you know, my buddy is a psychologist, and one of the things he's mentioned lately in the field of psychology, they've acknowledged a lot more. You know what's interesting is a lot of emotional stability actually comes from the father, which a lot of people always related it to the
Oh,
mother. But
100%.
like the dad is the one who shows people like here's how you manage your emotions in a certain way. I know not everybody's dad does this, but it is typically important cuz like babies will react on how to be afraid when they look at their mom, right? So if you're afraid of a snake, your baby's going to be afraid of a snake, right?
Mhm.
But if your dad does something in an environment, the baby also sees that. So it's interesting how like babies are looking at moms in a very specific way, but as the baby gets older and starts to think independently, they want to see different opinions, if you will, become really important to a kid in like development. So like
Mhm.
just seeing one point of view, they need to see the contrast. And that's where dads can step in and like, you know, tends to be a good father that's around their family and involved can bring a sort of like stability and sense of self-worth to a kid that is sometimes missing without it.
Fair enough.
Not saying that a mom can't
The
kick butt and
thing
do this too, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, and I was gonna say, I think it's funny, the way you phrased it to begin with, because 'cause I'm like, yeah, I we joke all the time about Hugo being, the emotional support human for everyone in the house. It's including the cat, like, he is just the emotional support for everyone.
Hmm.
And he does that in a few different ways, but, like, also, like, you have to be a happy, healthy parent if you want to parent well, in my opinion,
Yeah,
and your health and emotions do dramatically affect, your parenting, and, me having my favorite person in the world around me, supporting me, taking care of me, that is huge to me being able to be a good, happy, healthy parent, for my child, you know? I'm like, it makes a huge impact. He relieves a lot of stress by just knowing that even I have, you know, a partner who's gonna back me up, and support me in whatever I'm doing. It's huge.
I 100% agree. I don't have any kids of
Anyways.
my own, but being a teacher is partially where some of these
Mm,
things come through. They don't have as many male teachers, um, and I'm one of the male teachers they can talk to, where they feel very comfortable, which I'm very blessed and very
mm,
grateful for. And yeah, this is something I've noticed. I teach a guy how to tie a tie. Mom's crying. They're so
mm.
happy. It's such a big deal. Because
That
for a
is
lot of
big.
these guys, they're just missing that completely. So, kudos to the dads out there. A lot of respect. You need the dads and the moms, but they're both really, really important. But I want to hear about your movie you watched.
Yes, yeah. It's a surprise to you. I didn't tell you what movie I was gonna watch.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know. I am under the impression you've not watched this, but we'll see. Have you ever watched Singing in the Rain?
No, I have not.
Ah, I actually think you would enjoy it. I was very, very pleasantly surprised. It it had a way better storyline than I thought it was going to, and I'm sure that offends a lot of people that I assumed that it didn't. But, I say this having been a musical theater kid in high school. So, just know that it's coming from that background. But man, theater kids, man, they can be a lot. And and sometimes they love things that you watch and you go, "Wow. Oh, you thought that was good." Yeah. Well, I'm happy it makes you happy. And I can't help it, but that's kind of always was my assumption. Also, as a person who, again, this is a crazy TV show to be admitting publicly that I like. Glee, I have watched all of it. I did love it. I don't think I would ever rewatch it because um I rewatched the little bits and pieces and I was like, "Ooh, the storyline is that's rough." So
Fair
I
enough.
preface it with that. But um, the teacher in that, Mr. Schuster, he, I believe in the
Oh, you'll want to pause for a
was
second.
his
We're,
favorite,
oh, hold up a second.
and so pure in mind.
Could you? Sorry about that. We got some dinosaur effects there. It just cut out for the last 20
I believe
seconds.
that that was Hugo.
Oh, that's okay.
Fair enough.
So I'm sorry, but it cut out there. So you were saying, you may not rewatch it because some of the story bits were maybe not the best, you were
Yes.
saying, and that's where it cut out.
Okay, yeah, no, sorry, I was saying Mr. Schuster is the teacher, of the Glee Club. Sorry, can't talk. Anyways, and, as much as I like him as a person, I do believe that Singing in the Rain was his favorite musical, and that really painted a picture in my mind of what I assumed, it was gonna be like, and I feel really bad for judging this musical, having never seen it until now. It was great. I will give you a little bit of the rundown of what it's about.
Yeah.
There's this guy that's just kind of like a gung ho, get him kind of a guy, and he wants to make it big. His main thing is that he sings, but he never really kind of like struck it with that. He did odd jobs here and there, whatever he could do. but he he happened to be on set when he was watching this director get really frustrated because the stunt double just like was not doing their job correctly. And he was like, "Hey, I could do that." And the director was like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so he did it and he did great and he became like this he became really great at stunt doubling, which is like so not where I thought this musical was going, you know? Um, and, he eventually goes from stunt doubling to being just, like, an actor, and, this was before they had microphones, so it didn't really matter what they were saying, and they did some silly things because of that, and they could kinda say whatever they wanted, and unfortunately for this guy, he wound up getting paired with this one actress who was just, like, in everything, and so he was like, "Ugh, like, I have to work with this girl," and she's very annoying, she's, like, airheady, and she has a very silly voice, and they hate each other. Well, okay, no, he hates her. She thinks he's in love with her, and she likes it. And he's made it as clear as he can that he is so not into her. Anyways, as the story develops, he runs into this one girl, and of course, they have a bit of a silly tiff to begin with because, that's how romance starts. You start with an argument, you know? At least that's what romance movies think. And
Fair
he
enough.
winds up liking her. And she has a great voice. And, of course, throughout this, there's random bouts of singing and dancing and whatever. It's what Hugo says was kind of the CGI back in the day. He's like, movies love to have these high production CGI things now, and he's like, back in the day they didn't have that. They had musical numbers, and boy, did they use them. And the musical numbers remind me a lot of, like, when you're watching an old Western and they just have those girls up on stage, like, singing and dancing. It's like that, but higher value, you know? So I was like, "Oh, okay, like, that's not bad, like, I actually kinda like it." Um, Anyways, of course, microphones get invented, and they're fighting through the troubles of, "Oh, wow, we can't say the things we used to say because they can hear us now." And it sounds silly, and, of course, they're running into the problem of, oh boy, this main actress, she sounds terrible, she doesn't understand, like, basic common things, and they do their first run through of this movie, and it's awful, everyone is laughing at them, they're like, "Oh, no, like, no one is ever gonna take us seriously ever again if the public sees this, like, this is not a good look." So, they're trying to figure out what to do to it, and they decide that they're gonna fix it by making it a musical. Um, but then they're like, "Oh, yeah, wait a second. She also can't sing." So, like, that's still not
Ah.
this is still a problem, and she doesn't wanna hear any of that. She thinks she sounds great, she thinks she's amazing, she thinks she's just, like, the best. And so they come up with this plan that, the main actor, his girlfriend, is going to secretly voice over all of this girl's scenes, and they're not gonna tell anybody because they know that the main actress will lose her mind if she finds out, especially on account of, how we said that she's in love with the actor. Yeah, she's super butthurt about the fact that he's dating someone else. She's not happy about that. Um, and so at the very end, the musical comes out great. They show it on, to the public. The public loves it. They're like, "Wow, like this is amazing." Um, and she found out that she was getting voiced over and she was big mad about it and she tried to like manipulate it to where basically the girlfriend would be tied into having to voice over for the rest of time for her for at least 5 years because she was signed into a contract. And that was not what the girlfriend wanted to do. She had her own acting career, like that wasn't something which. Um, so anyways, every time they'd ever done publicity things for their movies, the main actor guy, he was always in charge of speaking, because they didn't want anyone to know how stupid she sounded. Well, she said, "Look it, like everyone loved me in this like movie. Like I want to go out and speak for myself and talk to them." And they're like, "You know what? Go for it. Go for it. Do it." And of course she goes out there and of course everyone hears her voice and then everyone's like, "Wait a second. This isn't that's not what you sounded like in the movie. Like, what's up with that?" And so they ask her to sing, and so she starts to try to sing, and of course, the girlfriend is backstage and she's behind the curtain and she's singing for her. And the boys raise the curtain and everyone starts to laugh at this actress because they see that she is not singing for herself. And so she throws herself under the bus on accident and it's great and it's hilarious and amazing. And then the girlfriend gets to be, a great actress and not have to work underneath this other girl. And so yeah, so great storyline, amusing, entertaining, a joy to watch, very pleasurable. It didn't feel laborious to have to watch this. So yeah, 10 out of 10. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
that's really nice to hear. Yeah, glad you
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I'm
drama,
I'm glad I enjoyed it too.
the drama behind Drama Club and all of that is always really fascinating to me. How it's just like you basically are putting together people who, have enough of an ego to want to perform because they want
Yeah.
to do this thing. And I know that like anything with art, you have to have ego, right? But it isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you have to have it, right? Like I like writing, I want to share
Yeah.
stories. That requires an ego to say I have a story worth sharing, right? Okay, well, to be an actor, you have to have enough ego to at least present a version of yourself that's going to go perform and you're going to go wow the audience and have a fun time and it may be your passion and all that, but when you put those people together in a project and they all have egos, it's really tricky to
Mhm.
make it work. That's interesting. And I've been around different dynamics. Obviously, I wasn't as involved when you were doing drama stuff. I wasn't as like involved, but also that was kind of like high school, and so I don't know. It's that wasn't where I got onto the whole scene of learning about drama. I learned about it later in life when I was like, oh, let's think here. I guess I would have been 24, 25 is when I started learning about all the intricacies of just how much drama there can be. And man, yeah, it's a rewarding story to see when the person who is like not the heart behind the thing gets roasted, because you hear all these
Yeah.
stories where like it could just be something as dumb as like the director has a favorite, even if that favorite
Mm.
isn't the best at performing it. The director sees something or shows
Yeah.
favoritism for whatever reason, and now the person who is not the most deserving gets it because they're better at playing the politics game, if you will. um and with art you shouldn't have to play a political game, but you do. It's a whole thing. So yeah, I've been involved in those battles
Yeah.
as such, accidentally, just on the sidelines, and boy oh boy, emotions are heightened. It is a whole thing, but
It
man.
is. It's rough. One thing that I fear will always stick with me and it really messed with my mind. I was not only in drama and theater, but I was also in choir. Um and I'm naturally a soprano. I can sing a little bit of alto, but I'm not. I can't remember which one's first soprano and which one's second soprano, but whatever one isn't as high is the one that I am. Um, and I remember specifically my section in the choir was always getting dogged on because we would either like slide up to the higher sopranos or like pick alto. I don't know. We were never doing what we were supposed to be doing. That's all I know. I know that for a fact. And I remember our director yelled at us, and just our group, not the rest of the choir, and he said, I like, you guys are stupid, like I don't know what you're doing. And then he goes, you guys are sopranos, you think you sound good, so I want to hear your voices louder. And I had, at that point, I had never questioned if I sounded good or not. That wasn't a curiosity that I had had. I was trying to do a good job, but I didn't think I sounded good or bad. I guess I felt neutral about it. And so I instantly was like, whoa, you think I sound good? That's like, that's a lot. I never said that I thought I sounded good. Um, and then I thought about it, and ever since, I've been like, no. In fact, I don't think I sound that great. I think I just sound good enough. I like I'm just a body to fill a space. And if you need someone to fill the space, I'll fill it. I'm certainly not going to excel at it. I enjoy it, but I'm by no means would I ever claim myself to be great. I'm like, nope, that's not. Which you should strive for better. Like you should just be like, cool, great. I'm in the middle and that's good enough. I have strived for better. I have like a mental block where I don't understand what it is. I When it comes to singing, I feel like I just fight so hard to sing loud, which is dumb. I'm very good at being loud, just not when I sing.
Yeah, fair
So
enough. I
I don't know
mean,
what that's about.
it's a singing's tough in of itself to like. Yeah, that's a tough thing because it's very. I think you and I share the mentality of like I'd rather I'm just gonna do the thing to be a team player, but like I would rather lift the other singers up. So if I'm in any focus,
Yes.
immediately I'm gonna be a lot more uncomfortable. Like that's not
Mm.
really what I'm here for. I'm here to lift the others up. I mean, I'm a bass singer,
Well,
so like
yeah.
to a 10, my job is to make melody and everything sound good. The lead, all those parts. I'm here to just bolster them up. You can't have a bass singer by themselves sound good. It's not going to sound good. You have to have the other parts. So, like, I'd rather it be like that. And then when somebody brings your attention to be like, da da da, here's the thing, you have a role, you think you sound good. You're like, do I? Do I think I sound good? I don't know. uh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That is the only class I ever walked out of in high school. It was just he was yelling and I was like, I don't have to stand here and take this. Like
Mhm.
it was we had 5 more minutes of the class left. So I wasn't making too big of a stand. But he was just really harping on us one day and I was just like, I didn't sign up for this and I don't want to participate in getting screamed at by a teacher.
Super fair. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone who has been in high school drama or choir knows that those teachers are like so intense.
Yeah. It's crazy. Later in life,
Hmm.
I've experienced this, but I've
Oh
experienced it
boy.
on the adult level,
Oh
which is
boy.
really
Yeah,
weird.
as the
Um,
teacher.
no, as a barbershop choir singer,
Oh.
which
I
is
thought you
so
meant you
weird.
had a
I mean, I've
okay. I thought you were
experienced
going the
that.
direction of a student left your classroom and I was like, "Oh boy."
I've had students leave the classroom before, but pretty much every time it's happened, I'm very grateful for this. The class 100% mocks the student afterwards because
Oh,
usually
okay.
they're making fun of the kid because they're like, I can't believe you did that. They're like he was treating you nice. You're just having a bad day or something. You're just lashing out against the teacher. Like that's usually been
Oh
the
boy.
interaction, which is like very
That's
sweet.
good.
But I feel bad for
Well,
the kid,
yeah.
and usually the kid and I become best friends afterwards because suddenly the people they thought were their friends stop wanting to hang out because they lashed out
Oh
at
boy.
me and then left, and they're like, oh, I don't want to be with them anymore. So then I have to befriend them so that they get their friends back. And then they're like,
Man.
that's the interaction I've had, which is a very blessed and honorable place to come from. But
Yeah, I was
that's
gonna tell our audience contextually, You would not scream and yell at your students. I know that about you. I'm not implying that you would scream and yell at your students the way that my teacher screamed and yelled at me. I'm just putting that out there.
Every time I've gotten mad at my kids, my kids always say that they can tell that I was raised by Canadians. Because they're like, you
Oh my
sound
gosh.
apologetic and you sound so sorry for being like upset. But it's something like there's a kid gambling in the corner and you're like upset and you're like, why are you gambling with cash? You need to stop before we need to do some serious things.
Oh
You could get
boy.
expelled. And they're like, even when you're saying that, you sound like you're sorry. And they're like, but it's
Oh
like a
boy.
blatant, like, of course you're gonna do something about it. Like, and of course you're gonna be upset. Like,
Wow.
but apparently I sound super Canadian and super polite, even when I'm
Well, that's
upset.
good. I just get quiet because I'm not nice if I'm not nice. So I just get quiet and people are like, "Oh no." That's not good. Whatever's happening over there is not good.
That's super fair. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I pulled the meanest card of it all, which is usually just I'm like, oh no, I'm just disappointed.
Oh,
Which is the worst card, I'm not gonna lie. But
that
yeah.
is.
It's like, all right, I guess it's gonna be like that. All
Darn.
right, so be it. And then they,
That's so rough.
yeah, but I'm just chilling. I'm like the guy who's like, yo, I got you some free food. I got coffee in the classroom. Like, we're gonna have a good time today. You know, like we're trying to have a good time, and I'm gonna present this with some excitement. And I know you're probably going through stuff, and we could talk about it. I'll listen. Like, I'll take 10 minutes of the class. If you're having a bad day, we'll stop what we're doing. I'll listen. You know, like, and they know that, so that helps. But
Yeah.
sometimes things happen, man. Sometimes I have bad days at the same time somebody else is having a really bad day. And that combo
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, sometimes somebody you get along with super well, you just don't for some reason on that day. So I try to be like the adult and be like, hey, listen, I don't know what it is. I just know today I ain't having it. Let's put a cool on it before we get too hot headed about this situation. It'll be
Fair
something
enough.
like super simple. But I got sidetracked. I was gonna say barbershop. I had a different experience in barbershop because I sang bass, right? So you're
Mm.
singing the really high part, so everybody needs to hear you and hear it, and they're gonna hear it and be like, "Oh wow!" Right? I'm supposed to be the one who's kind of in the background, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So one of the things is that I'm the youngest guy in that group. Everybody there is like in their 70s to 80s, right? And I'm in my 20s. I thought they were
Yeah.
always just saying nice things just because I'm a young guy and they're excited to have somebody in barbershop, which, you know, that's a whole story in of itself. But no, they actually really apparently meant it because they put me as one of their competitors and I'm like the only bass singer who's singing for the competition. And like they're like,
Wow.
nah, you lead it. And they're like, we chose this song because it's a bass centric song. And I'm like, what? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, to be
Uh-oh.
clear, you are an amazing singer. Like that I do want our audience to know that factually, you do sound really good when you sing.
Well, it's just I share that same sentiment as you know, being siblings and all that. That always makes me like when somebody looks at that and is like, "Oh, okay, I need to put you in a role for this and you need to be at center attention for bass."
Oh
It's like,
boy,
but
yeah.
that's
You're
why I
like,
sing bass
"Oh."
partially is so that I can hide. And there was one time the director 100% called me out specifically whole night because he saw me
Oh
sitting
no.
outside and I was doing like my I don't know some physics homework and he's like, "Have you been adjudicated yet?" and stuff like that. I was like, "Nah, I haven't looked into that. I know we still have like 3 months out." And he's like, "Yeah, but you're the leader of the bassists, so if you don't know what you're doing, they're not going to know what they're doing." And he's like, "And they work on it 40
Oh
hours a week
boy.
and you work on it for maybe 30 minutes." He's like, "I need you to work on it more." I'm like, "Oh." Oh, okay.
That's insane. Yeah, you're like, "Oh boy."
And that
Uh,
whole night he kept calling me out. He's like, "I know physics is important, but you gotta sing Ooga Chaka right." It's like, gotta sing it on tune. And I'm like, yeah, but I've never heard the song before. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, how are you gonna sing it if you've never heard the song before? I'm like, yeah, I'm just behind in schoolwork. And he's like, he's like, I know, but he's like, I chose this song because I had you in mind for it. And I'm like, oh, okay, understood, boss.
That's
And that
brutal.
definitely shaped me up, and I took it a lot more seriously. That was like one of those eye opening
Man.
of, oh, okay, I this
You're
makes
like,
me
"Oh
uncomfortable.
boy,
But
that's
okay,
fair."
that was a
Man,
whole experience. It was fascinating, man. I mean, I wouldn't want to have to
I
do it
believe
every
it.
day. Like in high school, you'd have to deal with it 2 or 3 times a week at least, right?
Oh, it was actually, the way our school was oriented, it was, it was all week.
Yeah, so every day. See, that would be tough.
Yeah.
Mine was like,
Actually, wait. Wait. Sorry, I just lied to you. I'm so sorry. Almost everything worked that way, but I actually do believe that drama and choir technically traded days. However, we did a musical, so and it was the
uh,
same teacher. So it felt like it because it was literally the same thing every day, even though it was technically a different class. So that's a caveat in case for some reason someone from my high school heard this and was like, that's not correct. Okay, sure, fine. Technically not. Also, unfortunately, we need to wrap this puppy up.
yep, looks like it.
As promised in the last episode, I said I would tell you what I do since I said I never technically get time off. I'm a stay-at-home parent. That's my what I do. So that's my fun fact about myself.
Yeah, pretty dope.
And goodbye from me.
Yeah, we got a minute and 10 seconds before our thing resets, so that's why we're all of a sudden like, and we're booking it. Yeah, I'm still a teacher. Nothing new there. My hobbies are many. Hey, I'll tell you what. Next week I have a plan because I'm picking up a new
Mm.
hobby, and I'm gonna give you a full report on rock climbing.
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but I'm gonna let you all know how it went. I've been doing some exercises, so that's what I hope to report on next week. So that's now me having to hold myself to it as well.
That's thrilling. I love it. I'm
Mhm.
excited.
But
Well,
thank you
sweet.
everybody for
Sorry.
listening. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm
thanks to
very
everybody for
excited. All right.
listening. I hope you
We
all have a
will
great one.
talk to you later.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.